Oh, we are live now. Welcome to class. Welcome, 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 everyone. Go tell others that we are live already. Are you ready? Are you ready to go right now? Okay. Welcome to day two. Yay! If you are excited, say I'm excited. Let me see how excited you are in the room. How excited are you? In one word, I like you to describe your day. What's it called now? Describe your day one experience. Tell me. I know some of you are just joining us. I hope you have gone through the replay of yesterday, right? Describe your day one experience. How was it? How was it? Tell me, tell me, tell me, tell me. How was your experience? How was the transformation? How did it go with you? Welcome to class. Tell us your name and where you are joining from. Where are you joining from? Where are you joining from? Where are you joining from? Tell us, tell us, tell us. Let's take this to the next level. Your name and wait, let me see if I will live here. Can you see me clearly? Let me know if you can see me clearly, can hear me, and then we take it up to the next level. Yeah! Welcome to class, people. Welcome, welcome. Okay, I see myself so bright. I'm beautiful. Welcome everyone. Okay, so we're going to get right into today's meeting. Um, we're going to get right into it. I hope you're ready to go. Let me invite members of my inner circle to join us as well. Let me invite them uh, to join in the class. Where are you joining from? Evelyn is here already. Evelyn, you're welcome. How you doing? I see Victor. Mm. Victor says it was okay. All right, that's interesting. You didn't do the assignment. Okay, that's left for you. Philippine says, okay, I think, welcome Philippines or Philippine. We're glad to have you in the room, in the building. Thank you so much for your time. Yesterday, joining from Ghana. I Ghana today. So where are you joining from? I want to know. Enugu, interesting, interesting. So let me know what stood out for you guys in our day one meeting. What stood out for you? What is that one thing that you can remember? We're rounding up today, remember? What is that one thing you can remember that actually stood out for you on the first day? Okay, somebody is here for Amaniyi Shegun from Ondo State. Welcome, Amaniyi. We celebrate you for joining in. Where are others? What stood out for you? Evelyn is joining us from Cameroon. So good to see you, Evelyn. So good to see you. Someone is joining us from Cross River State. Cross River State, Calabar. Are you in Calabar, Blessing? Okay. Um, or you are in Income Boki, Obudu. Obubra, where are you joining us from in Calabar, in Cross River? Thomas Idifon is joining us from where? Where you joining from? Welcome. So tell me in one statement, in one line, in one sentence, okay, what stood out for you on our very first day? What stood out for you? Tell me in the room what stood out for you. Coach said this actually stood out for me from day one meeting. Okay, I love to read that from you. I love to connect from that end. Yesterday was pretty amazing. We looked into something really interesting. Oh, Ugep, yeah, I know Yake. Yake, we used to call it Yake. That's Yako. Welcome from Cross River State. Okay, I remember I served in Cross River many years ago. Boki West, yeah, Boki West to be precise. Yeah. Okay, so Mm, let me see what stood out for you. What stood out for you from the conversation? What stood out for you? Share with us in the comments. We'd love to read what stood out for you. We'd love to connect. We'd love to get to meet you on a deeper level. If you are joining us for the first time today, let's also get to know who is joining us for the first time today. Just type first time in the room. Let's know those that are joining us for the first time. If you were in class yesterday, you don't have to do that. All right. But if today's your first time, just type first time coach Faith. All right. Okay, so we're going to get right into the conversation. I'm super excited about conversations around purpose. Yeah, since I started out on coaching in 2020 to be precise. Yeah, 2018 we started building our community. 2019 we have started to do one or two in the space, but 2020 we officially step into coaching on a deeper level. And I really just want to say that it's been a beautiful experience. In fact, since we started, I've never done a program on purpose. All right, last year we had such a session on um, vision activation for young women. So this is the first official training I'm doing on purpose, and I see that even those in my inner circle are fascinated about the subject, which is quite interesting. It is interesting because that is the reason we are alive. That's the reason we are here. The reason I'm here talking to you right now is as a result of purpose. Okay, Ubong, first time, welcome. Ubong, I hope you watched already the replay of yesterday, so you can build upon what we had yesterday. All right, Verem Destiny from Makodi, welcome, welcome. We're so glad to have you here. All right, so let me share my slide right now so that we can get right into the conversation. Yeah, yesterday was about discernment, discovery. Yeah, today it's about moving from discovery to activation. Somebody should type activation in the room. Activation. Victor says our purpose is in the midst of our pain and joy we experience, and that purpose must align with God's will. Interesting. All right. So we were able to sort of discover yesterday and also discern. We also ran our discovery through the discernment test, right? If you did not do the assignment yesterday, then you have to go back and do that. Okay? You have to go back and do that. Some people say they cannot see also. Okay, so one thing about growth, one thing about personal development is the fact that you have to be intentional with the overall process. Yeah, I see your money, yes, activation, Thomas, activation. We've got to be ready to do the needful as we connect to where we are headed, as we connect to life, as we connect to intentionality, and as we connect to a lot of things that God has placed in our hands. So beyond just discovery, beyond beyond discovery, beyond discernment, we have to be able to activate. All right, we have to be able to activate. We have to be able to set ourselves on fire so that we can truly do the work. Right. So this is the reason activation is important. That's why we're turning our purpose into project today. Somebody should type activation. Let me see those of you that are live, that are ready to activate. That is why we need to be able to turn our purpose into what? Our project is important. All right. I see project management pretty much rubbing off on the different areas of our lives. All right. Rubbing off on the different areas of our life. There is no one person that will say, oh, I have not been able to understand that purpose is a necessity. In fact, we all know deep down that purpose is a necessity, that we have to live a life of purpose. We all know. Even you're welcome to class. We all know that we have to be able to live the life of what purpose. So this is the reason it is necessary for us to what? Activate, activate, activate. So let's move on to the next slide. I hope you are ready. I hope you are excited. If you are excited, type I am excited to say I am excited. So day one was about discovery, like I said, discovering your purpose. So today we're going to activate it. We're going to turn that purpose into a tangible project. Do you see that? We are going to turn our purpose into a tangible project. Do you see that? So if you were here yesterday, I believe you would have done the discovery work. All right. Now it is time to build. How many of you did the discovery work yesterday? If you did the discovery work yesterday, type discovering. Type discovery. Let's know those that did the work yesterday, right? If you did not do it, there's no need typing. Just keep listening, all right? Keep listening. There are some people who comes to class to just look and to see what they are offering. I know. I know for sure. I've been in this game for the past 6 years. All right. Some people are just here to look to see what they are doing. All right. Some people are here because truly they want to learn. So be in that 1% in this room listening to me that is ready to learn. Don't be like the passers-by. Don't be like the spectators or those who are just here to see what Coach Faith is doing. Don't be like those. Be one of that 1% who is ready to implement. Because what will set you ablaze in the scheme of things is the fact that you do the work. All right? Many people start off on this journey, but not everybody. People come up with titles, come up with different aspirations and what have you, but they never get to stay to the end of the journey of purpose because they have not been able to do the work. So why does activation even matter? Someone would say, why does activation matter? It matters because without you taking action, all right, it's just going to purpose is just going to be potential. Activation is where transformation happens. Activation is what transforms us in a way that truly set us ablaze to be able to do the work. Okay? Activation is what transforms our awareness into impact. Do you see that? It is what transforms our awareness. We are aware, we understand. It is what transforms our awareness into impact. All right? It is what transforms our calling into contribution. Do you see that on the slide? Okay? There's something that God has placed on the inside of you. Okay? If God has placed something on the inside of you and you are rest assured, He has placed something on the inside of you, it simply means that you must be intentional to allow that to flow through you. Do you see that? It must flow through you. Are you listening? It must what? Flow through you. That thing that God has placed on the inside of you. It is only through activation. It is able to flow through you. Without activation, it will not flow. Without activation, it will not flow. That's why a lot of people keep saying, "Oh, I don't know what my purpose is," because there was a time you came in contact with an idea, you came in contact with a clue about what your purpose was, but you didn't take action. Not because you never wanted to take action, because you were not activated. All right? Because you were not activated to do it. What God has put on the inside of you, okay, should flow through you. You were made to do something with what you have discovered. All right? You don't discover and go and sleep. You don't discover and barely just go back to your cocoon. You discover for a reason. All right? Remember yesterday we said one of the overarching goal and essence of discovering your purpose is so that at the end of the day, you are able to become a person of service. You are able to serve. You are able to make the world a better place. Do you see that? So you are meant to do something. I always call it optimizing your doable initiative. You are meant to do something with what you have discovered. That's why we always say that any knowledge you have interacted with, any system you have intercoursed with, the truth is they will never leave you the same way. They would always rub off on you. Please, for those people that are listening to me right now, tell others to take their cursor to the front so that they can fully participate. I think some people are just joining, so they are watching from the back. They are not right live with us. They are watching from our replay. So if you are listening to this, just take your cursor to the front and then ensure that you flow from that end. Okay? Later, maybe you can go watch the beginning. So you were meant to do something with what you have discovered. Whatever it is that you have discovered about yourself, you will do something about it. Somebody should type do something. All right? If you were to be in a big corner, I would say tell your neighbor, do something. Type do something. Do something about it. All right? You're not meant to discover and go sleep with it. That's not how it works. Any man who has discovered purpose must do something with it. It's an essence. It is an essence. You would have to. You would have to deliberately do something with what you have discovered. That is how you grow. That is how you maximize your potential. That is how you discover yourself and build capacity plus momentum for your next level. You've got to be ready to discover, and when you discover, you've got to be ready to do the work. All right? So now look at the cost of not implementing. When you don't implement, this is what will happen. Look at the quote by Les Brown. How many of you know Les Brown? If you know Les Brown, type I know. Les Brown is an amazing personality, a public speaker, motivational speaker, a man of God, and he has a lot under his belt. He's been doing this. I think Les Brown is currently in his 70s. He's been doing it for a long time. He was very close friend to Miles Moron, late Miles Moron. So the cost of not implementing, look at the quote by Les Brown. Les Brown says that the graveyard is the richest place on earth because it is there it is here that you will find all the hopes and dreams that were never fulfilled. It is in that place you're going to find all the hope, the dreams, the aspirations that were never fulfilled. All because someone was too afraid to take that first step. Yesterday we spoke about different voices, the three voices. Who can remind us of the three voices we spoke about yesterday? You've got to be active in this class because some people may be living with something good today. All right. So tell me, what are the three voices we made mention of yesterday? You can see that to be afraid and not take steps could be one of those voices that has actually plagued you, all right, and has kept you stalled for a long time. And as a result, you've not been able to implement on the work of purpose, you've not been able to move forward, you've not been able to ascend the ladder of growth and intentionality. You've not been able to ascend the ladder of growth. All right, before we go on, I'd like you to subscribe to this channel. If you have not subscribed, I think we are currently 990, right? We're almost 1,000. I don't do this. Many of you have attended my classes. I really don't care so much about that, but I really want us to just make it to 1,000. You see that energy of 990 something. Let us subscribe and make it up to 1,000. Your subscription to this channel could just be what makes it up to 1,000. All right. Once you're done subscribing, just type done, done, done. Let me know this way that I've subscribed. All right. Okay. Thank you, Blessing. Blessing was really here. Okay. Faith also shared that. Interesting. Let me highlight for those people that are just joining. We spoke about the voice of God, the word, and your own voice. Right. These are the three voices that can really decide or determine whether we move forward or not. All right. Blessing, I've actually subscribed. Thank you. All right. So that can actually determine whether we move to the next level or not. The voice of God, the word, and your own voice. So you can see that the reason a lot of times people are not able to move forward is usually because they are afraid to take action. Okay, they are afraid because the voice of the world, maybe what other people will say about them, has become a challenge. Thank you, Victor. What other people say about them has become a challenge. Do you see that? What other people say about them, all right? And their own voice, maybe from where they are coming from, their past encounters, their past experiences that has actually plagued them. So when you don't implement, see what will happen to you. Your potential will remain locked. People you were meant to serve will remain unserved, and then your contribution will die with you. How many of you want to die with your contribution to the world? We don't want to make the world a better place. There's a popular saying that we don't want to leave our footprints in the sands of time. You want to immortalize yourself simply. Yes, you don't just want to come here, die, and then disappear. No, you want to be able to immortalize your name in the sands of time. Not necessarily because you want to be famous. No, not because you want to go viral. No, far from it, but because you want to be a blessing. You've been blessed. The Bible says that He has blessed us with all spiritual blessings in heavenly places in Christ Jesus. So you've been blessed. The best you can do, the only best appreciation you can give to God is that you also become a blessing. Yesterday, I spoke about the different realms in consciousness. I spoke about the victim realm, which is the lowest radar. I spoke about the manifestor realm. I spoke about the channel realm and then the being consciousness, right? And then I said that for someone to begin to operate within the realm of channel and beingness, the person must have been able to discover purpose. Now, when you discover purpose, it will become easier for you to really build capacity, for you to do the work of personal development on a deeper level. Because when you do not know who you are, you get to a level you're stuck. All right? You're destabilized. You don't want to keep up anymore. One thing that's kept me committed on the path of personal development for the years I've been on this journey is the fact that I know my purpose. I know my vision for the season. This program is a vision I was cultivated in my heart some few months ago that I wanted to do something in this regard. I also have programs coming up next year, coming up towards the end of the year. A lot of programs coming up. A lot of these programs are coming. Let me take water. A lot of these programs are coming up, right? And as they are coming up, what happens? Okay, so as these programs are coming up, you realize that I once envisaged the program. There was a time I sat down to envision, to ask myself who I wanted to help, why I wanted to help them. Why do I want to create a program on purpose? Why is it necessary for me to put a program together on purpose? Why should I even be intentional about it? You can see that when you don't implement on purpose, now we're saying it is not just enough to discover, it is that when you don't implement, your potential will remain locked. The growth that you would have attained, you will not attain it. One of the fastest route to growth is not even in getting a degree. It's not in going to the best Ivy League university in the world. No. The fastest way to grow is by understanding who you are, understanding your purpose, and truly sticking around to develop your potential. Because when you step in the world of purpose and you begin to deploy your services in the marketplace, you are quickly going to begin to unravel your gaps. I talk about growth gaps all the time as a coach. You are going to quickly begin to unravel your gaps because now you know for sure, all right, that it's an area where you clearly need help. Now you know for sure that you truly need what transformation, that you truly need help, that you truly need support. Do you see that? Now you know that there is such a help that you truly need, okay, to move to the next level. That you don't want to be stored, you don't want to be kept in one place. Every day I'm constantly learning, I'm constantly deploying myself on the path of growth. The reason is not because I do not have any other thing to do with my time. It is that I'm serving a generation. I'm serving a people, all right, to take transformation to the next level. And for that reason, I have to be available to do the work, to show up. So when you don't implement on your purpose, you are going to remain stuck. People you were meant to serve will remain unserved, and your contribution will die with you. Here's the implementation gap. You can see that 92% of people who set goals never achieve them. Do you see that? The problem is not because they lack vision, it is that there is a gap between knowing and what doing. And your ability to bridge that gap is what is going to set you ablaze. Because most people fail because they don't have a clear project, they don't have a clear framework, they don't have accountability systems, or they never move from thinking to building. They never move from what? Thinking to building. They never move forward in life. So they are always thinking. How many of you know about the concept of analysis paralysis? If you do, say I know. Analysis paralysis, where you're constantly just thinking, you are lost in your thoughts, you are buried in your emotions, and you can hardly come out. You can hardly come out of those emotions. All right? And at the end of the day, you find it very difficult to what? To stay connected. So when you activate, look at what is going to happen to you. Take a screenshot. You are going to unleash your God-given potential. All right? You are going to unleash your God-given potential. You are going to create tangible impact. Somebody should type impact. Impact, impact, impact. Type as many as you can. Impact. When you activate your purpose tonight, you are going to create tangible impact. Do you see that? You are going to experience deep fulfillment when you activate. No fulfillment goes beyond that. All right? You'll be so gorgeous and beautifully beautiful because you have implemented on the path of purpose. You are not sleeping on your vision. You are not sleeping on what God has laid in your heart. Yes, yes, that's it. Faith, that's it. Blessing. Impact, impact. As many as you can type. Victor, impact. Philippine, impact. You are so going to, my friend, you are so going to experience fulfillment. That's why people like us who have discovered purpose, we don't think like every other person. People are thinking this way. Our thinking patterns, the dimensions and the breadth and the length of the pathway of our thoughts is so broad. Like it is moving at the speed of light. It's not cluttered up with junks and with cholesterol along the pathway. All right. It is so free flowing that every now and then we are constantly capturing an essence for the next level. We are constantly capturing agenda, the agenda of God over the season. We are constantly capturing, okay, because the pathway of our thinking is so broad. So you will experience deep fulfillment when you activate your purpose. You grow exponentially through implementation. It is only through implementation you grow. You steward what God has what given to you when you activate. You steward. You become a faithful steward. You become a beautiful son and a daughter that your father can be proud of to say, thank you, my son. Thank you, my daughter. Thank you for sticking around. Thank you for doing the work of purpose. Thank you for not abandoning the project of the kingdom. Thank you for not abandoning my heartbeat for the season. Thank you for not abandoning it. Thank you for doing the work. You are so going. You are so going to be blessed. You are so going to begin to steward what God has placed in your hand. And when you are a faithful steward will definitely get results. All right? You definitely get results. Like I would always say that implementation is what gives credence to knowledge. If you really want to scale, you've got to be ready to implement. All right? I started out on this journey coaching and mentoring many years ago. Yes, if you look at my work many years ago and look at my work right now, there is a huge line of delineation. There is a huge gap. The gap is so powerful. Why? Because I stay put on the path of growth. Here is the six-part proven system that you need to bring your vision to reality, your purpose to reality. We have purpose crystallization. Can you see that? We have project architecture. We have consistency infrastructure. And then we have launch mechanisms. We have momentum and troubleshooting. We have activation and sustainability. Do you see that? Yes, a faithful steward would always get reward. That's it, parent. That's it. If you are a faithful steward, you would always get a reward. Okay? This framework has guided hundreds to launch their projects so that they could create real impact in the world. And you are next. You that is listening to me right now, you are next to launch your purpose project. The kind of project that will set you on fire for the kingdom. The kind of project that will set you ablaze for your next level. This is the six-part framework that you need to learn today so that you can fully launch your purpose project. If you are ready, say, I am ready, 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 Coach Faith. Purpose crystallization, we're going to understand with clarity, with detail, what that purpose is. So we're going to crystallize it. We're going to begin to structure the project. That's what project architecture is about. We're going to begin to understand how to build the infrastructure of consistency. Because some people started out, but after a while, they stopped, they stalled. I remember there was this amazing lady many years ago when I started out who we used to do a lot together. She was in the niche of relationship, doing a lot. But fast forward to a few months ago, I was just going through my previous device and I saw her contact. I wanted to reach out and I saw that now she's not really into coaching anymore. She says other things. She does business. Some of this wonderful hustling business, you know. And I tried to reach out to her and she said, yeah, she's coming back, she's coming back. The truth is, my friend, life does not afford life abhors vacuum. Do you see that? Life abhors vacuum. The moment you finish this class now, and you tell yourself, I'm going to start tomorrow, I'm going to start next tomorrow, trust me, you will never start. Thank you, Thomas. Thomas is ready. You will never start. You will never start. That's the truth. You will never get to do the work because the moment you leave this class, other things will take your attention. Like somebody said, I did not do my assignment of yesterday, right? Other things will always take your attention if you don't start now. All right. And then if you start now, if you look at yourself 5 years down the line, you'll be like, oh my God, thank God I attended the purpose activation webinar by Coach Faith. I learned a lot. I was able to set up myself with my project. I was able to get to work. Now look at my level of growth. Look at how far I have come. All right. Look at how far I have come. It is only someone who discovers purpose, all right, who discovers purpose that can truly stand before kings. The Bible says, seest thou a man that is diligent in his business, he will stand before kings and not before mere men. That business there is talking about purpose. It's talking about what you have been called into, right? It's talking about what you have been called into. Do you see that? It's talking about that. That's what the business is about. Nothing else. What you have been called into. So let's talk about purpose crystallization. This is where you get absolutely clear on your calling. This is where you get to refine your purpose into one clear sentence. All right? You identify exactly who you are called to serve. You eliminate confusion and conflicting directions. All right? You see, yesterday, I told you guys that it is important. All right? It is important that you clarify who you are meant to serve. You cannot serve everybody. You are not called to everybody. There are people specifically you are called to. For me, someone asked me recently, Faith Michael, who are you sent to? I am sent to advance humanity forward. That is my calling, right? To help humanity move forward so we can advance, so we can evolve, so we can ascend, we can grow, we can fully live the life that God wants us to live. We can fully maximize our potential here on earth. That is my mandate. Everything you see me do, I coach, I teach, I mentor, I create accountability systems, I create pathways for expressions and execution. All of them are geared towards that very mandate. There are no two ways about it. So this is where you get to have crystal clear direction that guides every decision. You've got to be ready to sit with it. Many times, one of the major problems I have seen again and again that kept a lot of people from truly doing the work of sitting down to crystallize their purpose is usually not far fetched from the fact that they do not have a mentor and a coach. They do not have a pathway. Sometimes people are just lazy. The truth is, if you are mentally lazy, you cannot fulfill purpose. Type that in the comments. If you are mentally lazy, you cannot fulfill purpose. Spiritually, emotionally, relationally, you are lazy in those aspects, forget about purpose. Some people cannot hold on to a thought for some days. That's why you cannot meditate on scriptures. You find it very difficult to meditate. That's why you cannot sit with an idea. To see to it that you're able to flesh out the idea, you're able to incubate the idea, so that the idea can begin to have several branches, several branches that can birth newness again and again, that can bring result to the earth. All right. So it is important. Purpose crystal in the place of purpose crystallization is when you now begin to utilize your executive functioning skill. All right. Your executive functioning skill is the part of you that has to do with your ability to manage time. All right. Your ability to um, sort of set goals and accomplish them. Your ability to stay focused. All right. Your ability to achieve results. Those are your executive functioning skills, and they are mostly connected to your prefrontal cortex, your prefrontal lobe, right? Okay. So if you are mentally lazy, you cannot fulfill what purpose. So you've got to be ready to do the work. You've got to be ready to show up authentically, like as never before. So in the place of purpose crystallization is where we get to sit back and just do the work of getting clarity about our purpose. All right? Gaining so much clarity about what our purpose. It is in the place of purpose crystallization. In the place of project architecture, remember this is the second framework. This is where we design the vehicle for our purpose. The vehicle for our purpose. Every one of us seated here, listening to me right now, Thomas, Chisom, Nandi, we have Philippan, we have Victor, we have Faith. Those of you that are here right now, or those of you that will watch this later, you realize that for every one of us, we have different vehicles for our purpose. Some may look similar, but no matter how similar they are, there will be elements of distinguishing factors that will differentiate me from you because my mode of expression will definitely be different from you. Okay, so design the vehicle of your purpose. A lot of people know that they have purpose, but they don't have vehicle for expression. Yeah, I'm going to tell you more about that. Are you learning something? If you're learning type, I am learning coach. A lot of people, they know for sure, okay? They know for sure that they are supposed to. They know for sure that they are supposed to do this and do that. They know what their purpose is. They have an idea. They know the things that make them to cry, like some of you shared yesterday. But their challenge most often is that they do not have a vehicle to carry that purpose forward. So they've not been able to choose a pathway, a format. They've not been able to define their deliverables. They've not been able to map out their timeline. They've not been able to build their blueprint. That's it. So they are constantly running in circles. They are constantly running in circles because there is no pathway for expression. Do you see that? There is no pathway for expression. So they are constantly moving around. Okay? Excuse me. Give me a minute, please. Okay, are you still here? Are you still here? I saw a question. I'm going to address that question. Somebody says, how do I? Okay, the question is off. You can ask again. I think the person was talking about building something. I think the person was talking about building something. Okay, so um now they don't have a blueprint, so they just know that they have something in their head. So they're interested in actually bringing it to reality, but there is no structure. You know when somebody says, oh, I want to have this beautiful lifestyle. I want to be able to do this and do that. Beautiful. But then um you do not have a structure to put it together. All right. God envisaged an idea. All right. He envisaged a planet, a humanity, and then he decided to put us in a planet, a home. Right. So if you have an idea and there is no home for your idea, there is no house for your idea, there is no pathway, there's no structure for your idea, then a lot of things will not flow. All right? Will not flow. Thomas, when you want to ask the question, please ask again. I think it has gone up in the chat. So you've got to be ready to design that vehicle for your purpose. Do you see that? The number three is consistency infrastructure. This is where a lot of people tire out, right? They do not know how to build a system that can eliminate excuses. Somebody should type excuses in the comments. They do not know they don't. They are struggling to keep up with that. So you see somebody who say, oh, I started out on the path of purpose. At some point I stopped. I didn't know why I stopped. Or maybe I just got tired. I just got fed up. It wasn't even working. Yeah, that's it. Because there is no infrastructure. All right? There is no what? Infrastructure. You have not been able to create your non-negotiable, design your accountability structures, build your automatic routines, establish momentum. Those things are not there. So the moment you know how to build a system to house what you have put together, then your consistency will become what? Effortless. So what should type effortless. And then number four is our launch mechanism. Our launch what? Mechanism. Do you see that? This is where you learn how to launch. how to execute your blueprint, how to create your first version, how to overcome the fear of imperfection. You begin to serve people, all right? You begin to take those imperfect steps, those imperfect actions. They may not be 100% there, but you begin to take it one step at a time. What this is going to do for you is that it is going to move you from I am going to do it to I did it. All right? How many of you want to do it today? You want to be able to step into the realm of purpose, type purpose. And then step 5 is momentum and troubleshooting. On the path of purpose, I want you to know that there will be challenges. Nobody is eliminated from it. We all have issues in our lives, whether in our relationship, in our business, in our workplaces, whatever it is. All right? So you discover that at the end of the day, you must be ready to what troubleshoot. Somebody says one of my major problems has been consistency. Okay, we have to also take it from the foundation to know if the reason you are inconsistent is because you are doing something that is not attached to what you ought to be doing. So there is no passion, there is no enthusiasm, there is no connection, there is no vibe, there is no inspiration. So you struggle to keep up. So there are also factors that can lead to that through that path. All right. So you must be ready to push through obstacles. That is the fifth step. All right. And then the last step is where you get to what? Activate and sustain. This is where you get to launch your purpose project. All right. So you type launch. Launch, launch, launch. Let me see those that are ready to launch their purpose project. This is where you get to launch your purpose project. You now begin to measure your impact. You now begin to celebrate your journey. You create systems. You map out your next 90 days plan. I always talk about 90 days sprint. In our last productivity program, for those of you that were there, we spoke about 90 days sprint, right? So this is going to help you to begin to live that life, to begin to make real impact in the world, to make real impact in the world beyond all that we have shared. It is going to really facilitate your growth, facilitate your ability to do the work, to show up authentically in your most powerful zone. So in all of that we have spoken about, the different path you have to go through so that you're able to launch. That is the purpose project framework I just shared with you on the platter. The purpose project framework on the platter, the 6-step methodology. For those of you that will get into our mentorship, you are going to work with me for 6 weeks to launch your purpose project through that framework I just shared with you. And we're going to go deeper in each of the framework. You're going to learn, you're going to launch, you're going to do the work, and you're going to get results. So that is it. Many of you are ready to launch. Great, great, great. All right. We're not talking to those who are not ready, who will say tomorrow. We're not talking to those people because we know what it can cost us if we don't launch, if we don't show up, if we don't do the work, right? It is going to cost us a lot. So these are the 12 purpose project pathways. So in launching, there are pathways for expressions, like I said before. All right. There are what? Pathways for expressions. The pathway I will use is not the pathway that Victor will use, Evelyn, Philip, or what of you. We all have different pathways. The first pathway now is the knowledge pathway. Somebody should type it in the room. Knowledge pathway. So you're going to ask yourself, this is my calling, this is my purpose, this is what God is calling me into. But then, what pathway fits into this calling to ensure that I'm able to communicate it, right? What pathway fits into this? Some people say, oh, I've been sent to children, I've been sent to leaders, I've been sent to pastors, I've been sent to teachers, I've been sent to entrepreneurs, I've been sent to creators, I've been sent to mothers, fathers, I've been sent to different categories of people. But which of the pathways do you wish to? Are you going to through? Are you going to implement through based on several factors that we spoke about yesterday? Remember yesterday? Oh, it wasn't in this class. I was teaching about the minor circle, and I was talking about the fact that people have 3 gaps in their lives. We have 3 gaps: knowledge gap, we have character gap, and then we have skill gap. When I was talking about skill gap, I made mention of the fact that our skill gaps a lot of times is the reason we're not able to do certain things. And then I said many a times when you understand what your purpose is, you have to deliberately begin to develop the skills that are necessary for you to implement the experiences that you already have that you can glean from. So you see that your vehicle now is going to be attached to your skill gap or strength, right? It's going to be attached to that. So the level of strength you have in a particular area, the level of skill set you have, somebody may say, oh, my pathway of expression, my vehicle for expression is through speaking pathway. You can see speaking pathway there, but yet you don't know how to speak so well. But you know you want to speak to the heart of men. You want to set them on fire. You want to inspire people. But what do you begin to do? You begin to think about how to start from where you are and build your momentum up. So we have the knowledge pathway, as you can see, and at this level is where people create courses, they put trainings together, they put workshops together, they put curriculum together. As you are listening, as you are looking at the different pathways, begin to ask yourself which one is my own. And if you know, begin to also write them down. And then we have the creative pathway. At this level, people write, they create content, we have media, we have podcasting, we have books. This is the creative pathway expression of purpose, of purpose. Okay? Someone will say, oh, I don't want to speak, I don't want to write. Okay? Do you know how to do what's it called? Do you know how to do okay, so we're not gonna bring those people into creative or knowledge pathway or even speaking pathway because speaking pathway includes coaching, consulting, speaking. Then we have business pathway. Okay, this person can clearly be creating products and services, and they don't need to put out their faces out there, but they are solving the world problem. They are bringing life to the heart of men. This will begin to also generate into this business while I was asleep. What do you think? I've never done it before. Then you would have to go back and on the separate business. No sound, okay. I think it should be the network. Let's see how we can switch. Is it back now? Is it back? Am I back? Oh, can you hear me from here? Okay. Somebody says yes, you are back. Okay. Evelyn, can you hear me? Shedra, can you hear me? You can hear me. We'll continue before I share my slide. So you've got to be ready to understand that there is a pathway that truly connect to where you are right now. There's a pathway through which you can begin to express so well, all right? Through which you can begin to express your vision at this very level, okay? Through which you can begin to express it. Okay, Philippines says, I can hear you. Okay. King White says, no audio sound at my end. Okay, okay. Thank you so much. Indigo, you are here. Yeah, I'm here. Can you hear me? Can you hear me? I'm confused. Some people are saying they can hear me. Some says they can't. Who should I believe now? Indigo, can you hear me? Okay, so let's move on. Thank you so much. So, like I was sharing already, that when it comes to those pathways, a lot of times you give excuses to say, oh, I don't think I can do this. Oh, what's going on with my slide? Okay, hold on, please. Okay, you can hear me now. Thank you. Okay, we're talking about pathways. Okay, interesting. So, all right, so like I was saying, that a lot of times you tell yourself, yes, I want to do this, but clearly you are not doing it, not because you don't want to, but you have seen to it that possibly the different pathways that you have seen others implement through is not something you can really run with. Or possibly you still have that fear, that voice, that thought voice in your head, that sabotage that has kept you from implementing, from doing the work. And as a result, you've not been able to implement, you've not been able to what really show up as your most authentic self. Okay, I'm going to remove this. I think it's waving. Can you hear me? Okay. So you have seen to it that it's not something that you can easily just keep up with. So it's a challenge for you. All right. It's a challenge for you to really keep up. It's a challenge for you to really keep up with that pathway. So what you have to do is to go back and begin to ask yourself, through which pathway can I fully express my vision? Through which of this pathway can I fully begin to what express my vision, the vision that God has laid in my heart, instead of sleeping on it? Through which pathway can I begin to what express my what vision? Do you see that? Through which pathway can I fully begin to what express my vision as it has been laid in my heart? Okay, I think this slide is misbehaving. We're just going to go to, let me use my note here. Okay, so we have what? I like you to type as you hear me. So we have the community pathway. That was where we stopped. Community pathway. And then I was talking about groups, people who know how to create groups, who knows how to network, who knows how to create movement, who knows how to create membership. Do you see that? That is the what? The community pathway. That is the community pathway. And then we also have what we call the initiative pathway. Initiative pathway. I like to type that in the room. Initiative pathway. All right? Initiative pathway. So that pathway allows us to be able to do the work of purpose more intentionally. Do you see that? It allows us to be able to do the work of purpose more intentionally than as ever before. That is the initiative pathway. So initiative pathway is where we talk about ministry. All right. So who here is into ministry? If you're into ministry, type ministry. Ministry, not-profit, social enterprises, and all of that. It is at this level we talk about ministry pathway. Do you see that? It is at this level we talk about what? Ministry and initiative pathway, not-profit, social enterprise as well. Social enterprise, it could be part of it. Social enterprise, okay, where we are sort of able to now begin to look at our lives from the angle of this is what I think I can really step into. And then number 7 is the healing pathway. Healing pathway. That is number 7. Healing pathway. I like you to type that in the room. Healing pathway is number 7. This is where we talk about counseling, we talk about therapy, we talk about awareness, we talk about restoration services, and a whole lot. It is at this healing pathway. Healing pathway. Okay? Okay, community and initiative pathway. Interesting. Okay. I'm trying to upload the second slide as I'm teaching. So we have the healing pathway. This is where we have counselors, we have therapy. There was someone yesterday, I don't know if that person is in the room. The person said, Coach Faith, I'm very good with encouraging people. I encourage people a lot. That was what the person shared yesterday. I encourage people a lot. I'm very good with that. Right? That is the healing pathway. It could be seen as therapy, right? It could be seen as wellness. It could be seen as counseling, all right? That is the healing pathway. Then we have the advocacy pathway. Advocacy pathway. This is where we carry out campaigns, awareness programs, initiatives, justice initiatives, policy work, and all of that. That is the advocacy pathway. Then we also have the artisan pathway. All right, these are people who love to do craft. They can do things with their hands. They can make designs. They can do homemade products. They can do creative goods and services. Then we have technology pathway. Type it in the room. Technology pathway is the pathway where people use applications, software, digital tools, tech solutions to really pass their message across. All right? To really what? Pass their message across as a tool for healing. Do you see that? As a tool for what? Healing. This is at the level of what? Technology. Then we also have hospitality pathway. At the level of hospitality pathways where people create experiences, events, hosting, gatherings, and a whole lot. And lastly is the stewardship pathway. This is where we talk about financial services, resource management, investment, and a whole lot. So these are the different pathways. If we are to deconstruct each of them, you discover that there is something you can do. See, I just gave maybe 2 or 3 examples in each of them. For each of them, we can actually have up to 100 different ways to express these pathways. Over 100 of them, right? Over 100 of them to express this pathway. So it is not just about counseling, which is more like a major thing in the healing pathway, or therapy, okay? All right? Or therapy, or wellness, or restorative services. It is that you can also begin to sit down and ask yourself, yes, in the mentorship, I'm going to be opening up a 6 weeks mentorship program just for 6 weeks. for those who want to launch their purpose project today. All right, not tomorrow, we're launching today. Okay, after this class, if you want to get on board, you sign up and then we do that together for 6 weeks. But the thing I want you to understand, somebody is asking a question, what about when you love making people understand ideas better? So that is the knowledge pathway. And that also falls under, depending on your ability, depending on your skill set, it falls under knowledge pathway. It falls under what's it called? Creative pathway as well. All right. Your ability to communicate an idea, your ability to make other people understand. All right. Knowledge pathway majorly, because you can do that through different means: workshops, community programs, master classes, workshops, curriculum creation, through different platforms, through coaching. Okay, I'm teaching this now. This is exactly what I'm doing. I'm making you understand this concept of purpose in a very simple way. One, two, three, four, five. You are good to go. You can pick it up. All right. I'm not giving you so much to say, oh, I'm not giving you vague stuff. I'm making it so tangible. How many of you can relate with the tangibility of this conversation? If you can relate with the tangibility of this conversation, type tangible. Type tangible. So I'm making it very easy for you to run with, so that it can become very you can become very intentional with the work. All right. So you can become very intentional with the work. We're not saying some big stuff. All right. So that even in your prayers, it will become so clear and vivid to you that this is what I ought to be doing in this season of my life. This is how I ought to be living my life for purpose. Do you see that? So as we also get to come into the mentorship, we are going to further deconstruct each of these pathways into more than 30 to 50 different patterns that you can begin to understand, to know that it is not just about the surface things that we can see. There are so many things you can see that you can do within your circle, in your neighborhood, in your family, in your church, in your vicinity, that may look very small, very little. But the way you package it, yesterday I said purpose project is about packaging the ideas of God, the wisdom of God over your life, and the calling of God over your life, right? However, you are able to package it. We're not talking about some kind of audacious branding now. We're talking about just being able to package simple things that you can do, that you can come out with as the Lord has laid in your heart, and as you also have received clarity. All right? Simple things you can package together. Somebody knows how to communicate ideas, and then the next thing you are saying is, oh, I want to launch a master class in my city room. I remember the story of Simon Sinek. How many of you know Simon Sinek, the author of Start With Why, Find Your Why? He said something really profound. How he started out in this very thing he does today. That is one of the biggest and the most popular optimists in the world. It's that he started to talk about finding your why. He started to share it, and then there was this day he was sharing it with his girlfriend of then, and then his girlfriend was like, "Why don't you start sharing this to a lot of people? This idea you are sharing is so powerful." And then he was able to bring in about a few friends together, and he told them to pay $100 for a one-day workshop so that it could help them find their why. And then they did it, they showed up, and they were so fascinated. That was how it blew up. All right. That was how it blew up, just by talking to his friends, just by doing one or two. So there are ways you can really package that purpose project, and then it can begin to make sense. So like we said, healing pathway, advocacy pathway, artisan pathway, technology pathway, hospitality pathway, and then stewardship pathway. I hope that's clear. So the question I want to ask you right now is, what pathway fits you? Answer. What pathway fits you? All right. How do you do that? You ask yourself, what problem am I uniquely positioned to solve? What do people already ask me for help with? Do you see that? What format energizes me the most? So it's not just about saying, these are the people I want to help. What format also energizes you? What format sets you on fire? Some of you will never teach the way I'm teaching right now. You don't like it. It's not your thing. Like someone said yesterday, it is singing that sets me on fire. It is singing that sets me on fire. That is the pathway. That is how it sets them on. The truth is, whatever it is you are doing part time as a purposeful person, you have to understand. All right? Purpose is not passive. Purpose is action. That's why a lot of people are not discovering their purpose. You are expecting one thing to fall down from heaven and then just stand in the middle of your room and say you are now this is not your purpose. No. With all of the clarity questions I gave you yesterday, if you're able to answer them with discernment, you would have already known. Because prior to this time, you already knew it. But just that a lot of you are so scared, the voices in your head, the voices of people has actually plagued you and kept you stuck, and you've not been able to take action. So purpose is actionable. All right? Purpose is what? Actionable. You must be ready to understand you and take action. Purpose is not a passive experience, it's an active journey. So you've got to be able to ask yourself, what format energizes me the most? Okay, now Philippines says mine is healing and stewardship pathways. Great. Healing and stewardship pathways. So you're going to ask yourself, what format energizes me the most? So that when I'm doing this thing, I'm happy. I'm not getting angry. Nobody forced you, right? Nobody forced you to do it. I remember many years ago, I just wanted up in the secondary school and I was asked to go teach. I had an opportunity to go teach somewhere, to be teaching children. I never loved it. I never loved it. It was a struggle. It was a struggle. I had to stop after a while. All right. I have a children platform, but I'm more of an what do we call it? I'm more of a mentor. I'm a more of a patron, matron, right? I bring in teachers to teach my kids, right? That's what I do in our children athletes. I'm not their teacher. We have teachers, we have coaches who are specialized in teaching them. This is my niche, this is my space. I teach leaders, I teach and mentor leaders, right? So even if you see me doing it, it's just a one-off thing. It's not like something I'm going to stay in for a long time. In the very first 8 months of our children athletes, of our launch, I was teaching back to back every week, but I wasn't enjoying it. It was a struggle most often. All right. The moment we're able to pick up, I had to get people to do the work. Do you see that? Somebody says knowledge and hospitality pathways. Interesting. I love the way you are highlighting them out. So what format energizes you the most? What could you build in 6 weeks that will create immediate impact? This is how you understand the pathway that fits you right now. What could you build in 6 weeks from now that can create that immediate impact? It should feel naturally to you, to who God has made you to be. It shouldn't be something that you force. Someone says knowledge pathway. Great. I remember when I used to gather young ladies in my home in those days. I will have two, three of them. They'll come around and I will inspire them. I will teach my heart out as a young girl. All right. I would teach them so much, so deep in those days. So that was knowledge pathway for me. It was always the thing. So you've got to ask yourself, what could I build in 6 weeks that will create immediate impact in my life? What could that thing be? All right. So that is your way to understand the pathway that truly what fits. Do you see that? So that is it. Your clarity questions you've got to be able to ask yourself so that you can sharpen your purpose project. What would I create if I knew I couldn't fail? Who specifically am I called to serve? What transformation do I want to create for them? What's the simplest version I could launch today? All right. What's the simplest version? Stop looking for the big one. When I started out on community building, I wasn't coaching. I didn't know there was anything coaching, right? I was just a WhatsApp girl. Created a WhatsApp group and I was reviewing books and I was doing one or two there. That was it. Nothing more, nothing less. But if I had this knowledge then, oh my God, I would have done way better. But I didn't have that idea and all of that. So I wanted to know that if you could ask these questions, it's going to launch you forth. All right. So your purpose project should be specific. All right. For example, someone will say to help people. No, it's not to help people, but a 4-week course or financial freedom for single mothers. Pam, did you see that? For the person that said, I'm sent to stewardship pathway, Philippines, it could be a 4-week course on financial freedom for single mothers. All right. It could be, oh, my purpose, to make it meaningful, I could say, to serve your purpose and impact 3 people. All right. You can launch in 6 weeks. It is possible. You can align with who God made you to be. That is why I said you've got to be ready to break it down. It's not something that has to be forceful. It's not something that has to be cringy. It's not something that you have to try to put your head together. Something little that you can start with so you can begin to build your execution muscle. How many of you know that your muscle for execution has to be built? Okay? And it must be tangible. It must exist in the real world, not just in your head. Many of you understand what God is calling you into. You know your purpose, but it's lying dormant in your head. All right? Nobody sees it in your head. You can't make contribution in your head. You can't become a blessing to the world in your head. You cannot also make God proud of you as a son and as a daughter in your head because you have refused to allow what is in your head to come out. Okay? So, some example that I've shared here could be a 6 week group program on you're teaching. Maybe you're teaching a skill, a podcast sharing your message, a membership community for people you serve, a coaching of consulting, practice, a book, a guide, or a course that educate people, a ministry initiative in your area, a product or service serving a problem. All right. So your project should feel like you, not a copy of someone else. You shouldn't become a stereotype. You are a prototype. God created you uniquely with a DNA that is specifically attached to you because there is something that He wants you to do. So where do we go from here? Have you learned something so far? Have you learned something? If you have learned something, tell me I've learned something. All right. Do we have any questions? I would address questions. But I don't think I will do that today because time is fast spent. So maybe we'll meet any of the day on the WhatsApp group and I will address questions. But with that being said, what is the next step after now? So if you have one or two, I can quickly address them right on this call in 5 minutes and then we'll be rounding off. Okay, so where do we go from here? Now that you understand and you have been able to activate your purpose, now you understand the 6 part framework that I shared and the 12 pathways available. All right, I want you to know that understanding is not enough. Are you still here? You're still here, say, Coach Seth, I'm still here. Understanding is not enough. You've got to be ready to implement because implementation requires guidance, it requires accountability, it requires structure, it requires a community. How many of you can attest to that? All right. How many of you can attest to that? Implementation requires, I'm glad you've been awakened, Shadrach. Implementation requires what? Guidance. It requires accountability, requires community and even structure. All right. That's why we are not going to leave you hanging after now. All right. There is an opening for a mentorship program. All right. How many of you love to take up mentorship? You love to take up mentorship, simply type mentorship. There is an opening for a mentorship program, like I shared with you before. 6 weeks mentorship program. All right, for you to do the work, launch in 6 weeks, and begin to take one tiny little step per time. All right, you see, putting the structure together and doing the work is where purpose begins. It is not when it is stuck in your head. All right, I know a lot of people will say, oh, yes, Patrice, I know I have a purpose, I know I have a calling, there is something in my heart that God has been saying to me. It is time to come and do the work. Yeah, I see you are interested in mentorship. Great. It is time to what? Do the work of purpose. Do the work of purpose. It is important. Remember, if you don't implement, you stay stuck. You will not grow. Your growth is going to be kurukere, because you are not inspired. It is your purpose that will inspire you. It is your purpose that will set you ablaze. When others are discouraged and sleeping, it is your purpose that keeps you consistent on the path of growth. Because you know you are not just learning for yourself anymore, you are also learning to be able to make the world a better place. So each time a gap is revealed in your life, each time a gap is opened up in your life, it becomes a leeway, it becomes an opportunity for you to step into a higher dimension of purpose. Do you see that? For you to step into a higher dimension of your calling and your brilliance, it becomes an opening for you. So this is it. The mentorship offer has been opened. Get on board. We have made it very affordable. We have 3 tiers. For those of you that would like to join the general coaching mentorship, it's available for a token. For those of you that would love to join the, what's it called? The visionary package, it's also open for a token. And for those of you that would also need the executive mentorship offer, you want to be in the community and you also want to have connection with Coach Faye to look into your project so that you can finally be able to launch a prototype, not at the level of a stereotype, not as someone who is mimicking another person, trying to copy what others are doing. It has to be straight from God. It has to be straight from the throne room. It has to be uniquely tied to your DNA, okay? In a way that people hear it and they're like, oh my God, the skills, the experiences, and everything you've been able to gather over the years will not just begin to make sense, will not just begin to help you live a more fruitful life, okay, that can surely lead you there. I'm glad you want to get on board. So Faith is going to be sharing the details in the room, all right, so that you can register. Go to the sales page that we have all the details there. Faith will share the link. Read about it. Read about all the details and make your uh, registration. For those of you that want to get into the effective mentorship one-on-one, you'll be able to also you'll be redirected on what to do once you get in there. All right. So I want to celebrate you. Thank you so much. Many of you came through the ad. Some of you have been my student in the community. Some of you have interacted in one way or the other. I really want to say thank you for showing up in this program. All right. 2 days of activation. I believe I've been able to open you up to dimensions that you never thought existed as it has to do with purpose. And that's the most beautiful thing. That is the most beautiful thing that you can think about. That right now, okay, somebody says, Varem says, mine is healing and knowledge pathway. Interesting. So that the most beautiful thing right now is that you have been able to step into something that is going to change the course of your life for eternity. All right? It's going to change the course of your life, the course of your existence for eternity. All right? Can you still hear me? Are you still there? Are you still there? You are welcome, Philippine. All right. So something that is going to change the course of your life for eternity. I think that's the most important thing. All right. I think that's the most important thing, that you've gone through this process, you've gone through this experience, and you're ready to do the work. I want to celebrate you for keeping up, all right, for showing up as well. Go do the work. I think I was going to share the last slide. Let me talk more about the mentorship so we can call it a day within the next 2 to 3 minutes. Okay, so 6 weeks of guided implementation with Coach Faith. So for the Purpose Project mentorship, for those that were in the last cohort, the last program, we didn't do it as a 6 weeks mentorship because I was really engaged with members of my inner circle growth garden. So now I'm much freer. We've been able to sort out a lot of things. So I think I can take you guys on the 6 weeks coaching. So what I'm saying in a nutshell is that um, the 6 weeks program, it's a program that will help you weekly. There'll be weekly live mentorship sessions. You have a step-by-step framework, all right, to be able to gain the clarity, go through the 6 different um, roadmap that I shared that we're going to implement with, as it has to do with a purpose project. You're going to be accountable to be able to put together your project, and then you also have access to the community. Yeah, the community of purpose-driven leaders, purpose-driven visionaries. All right, and then there would also be a direct troubleshooting support in the community as you get it joined for the 6 weeks. Do you see that? So 6 weeks is not overly cluttered. It is just straight to the point. It's about implementation. We're not there to talk stories, right? We're not there to talk stories or to create a course. It's going to be weekly live sessions. As I teach you, you go implement, you do the work, and then you come back with your feedback, you ask your questions, and then we see what you are doing. And it's also an opportunity, it will also be an opportunity um, for you to have access to other purpose-driven individuals who are also doing something on their journey, all right, of growth. There will be collaborations and a whole lot. So by week 6, your purpose project will be life. All right, you'll be making impact, you're able to do the things that truly matter as you connect to that. All right, you're welcome, Thomas. Thomas says, thank you so much. Let me see that again. Yes, I love a good appreciation. Um, that's great. I'm glad you're proud of yourself, Thomas. And then Omoni says, thank you very much. I really appreciate you. That's great. So we'll open the group for you to share your feedback. Then you also have access to go sign up for the program. Thank you so much for your time tonight. It's been an awesome conversation. Do have a lovely night rest and do ensure that you go to church tomorrow. Yes, talk to God about your purpose. Say, God, my purpose, my purpose. Coach Faith is ready to work with me for 6 weeks. I'm ready to launch. I'm ready to do the work. I don't just want to take the back seat anymore. I know that my purpose has to be alive. All right, has to be alive. Has to be able to bring the contribution that is required to the earth realm and to humanity. hmm Yes. Take care, everyone. I love to see you in the community. Ensure you sign up and take care. Bye for now.